know, like, if you start thinking, make you think about it. I was saying, Kendrick Lamar is like the opposite of Drake, where, Drake makes you like introspective, like, towards like, hey, man, fuck that shit. Fuck him, shit like that. But it's like Kendrick Lamar makes you think inside, like,
you know who I tap into, and I really dig is J. Cole.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cole, like, I love the way J. Cole tell his story.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he real creative. A lot of these young niggas really.
I've been fucking with this since that was how
Cold Summer. Cold Summer.
Okay.
You guys got it. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11. I feel like this is going really fast. Doesn't seem like, I don't know. I feel like we just did one not too long ago. Huh. But episode 11, titled Lights, Camera, and Fucking Action. Fucking Action. I am excited today because we have my good friend that wears so many hats. I'm trying to be like him when I grow up. I have Mr. Donald is it Dawes? Dawson. He is the CEO of No More Struggling Entertainment brand. He is also an amazing movie writer, director, producer, editor, everything. Just filmmaker. I just felt like I wanted to just lay it all out so he could get his flowers right now. So get your flowers because you deserve it. Not only that, he had an amazing football coach, your teacher. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for coming on our show today. Yes.
Like with the family.
Yes, it is like with the family here. Even though I'm not in the film industry like these two, but I still feel a part of the family. A little bit. Close. Yeah. I do. I help a little bit. I do. I feel special that month. So, before we get into talking to our guests, Donald actually gave me a great topic to answer about. I don't know if you guys saw the whole Keke Palmer situation. Marie, did you see? You saw that? Yeah. She went to go see Usher. And she wore this, I guess it was like a bodysuit type thong with see-through over it. She was loving her Usher concert. Baby daddy, her husband, I don't know if they're married.
Just
boyfriend. Okay.
Baby
daddy, yeah. And came and posted. He was like, that is not an outfit that a mother should be wearing. And then he went on a whole rant about it as well. So, since I have two amazing men here, let me hear your side of this. Do you think what she wore was inappropriate to the concert with the girls?
Do you know? Did you see it? Or you know about it?
I did.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go ahead.
All right. So first off, I'm mad because I just got banned on TikTok. I got violated on TikTok for talking about this topic. Like literally 2 hours ago.
Wow.
So yeah, most definitely she was in the wrong. But the problem that I have with the whole situation is there's a bunch of women condoning this behavior. So if you seen the video, not only was the outfit inappropriate, but how she's handling it now is even more inappropriate. Because she's like in her feelings because dude went online to what's his opinion. Now, I think that was whack. I don't think he should have did that.
Yeah.
You should have checked that in-house.
Yeah.
But there's women out here like, well, she's the breadwinner, she gets to do what she wants. I got a problem with that.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
I will say,
agree with that either.
from a woman's standpoint, I get where she's coming from right now. Now, hear me out before y'all say something. She just had a baby.
Okay.
The baby gave her body.
Okay.
She talks about it. And after having a baby, a woman goes through it with her body.
Right.
We feel less attractive. We feel less like our body has changed. It's not coming back. And you try to do things to make yourself feel sexy.
But what if your man is making you feel sexy with?
Obviously, he's not.
But is the question, is he?
We don't know that, though.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Everybody speculates.
Yes. I think because here's the thing. Beyonce went through the same thing after she had Blue Ivy. That's where the whole song where she was talking about having sex with Jay-Z in the limo. she started embracing her sexiness after she had.
But she still dresses like that though, and nobody's saying nothing.
No one says nothing. No, she doesn't. Okay.
that goes to my point. Y'all looking at this almost from the standpoint of regular people, but to somebody in her position, relevancy matters, and it's like she has to maintain relevancy amongst other entertainers, actresses, singers, and it's like if every single other person from Beyonce to Sierra with the whole year and vow.
Yeah, Sierra be extra naked.
And I mean, and I'm just saying, it's like you have to, because at the same time, it's like Tracy Ellis Ross for her 50th birthday.
Yeah, she had a move with her tits.
And it's like you got to think about it like that. Yeah, it's like I'm somebody that the same way we just say controversy sales.
That still doesn't work though, because so here's the reason why it's a problem. Her dude is a regular dude. Okay? Now Keke Palmer and Usher are on this whole platform of celebrity. So at any point in time, she has access to Usher. It ain't like her dude got access to Beyonce. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's where the problem comes in. First off, you in Vegas with your girls. You took that outfit knowing that your man was not there. You knew what you was wearing. You knew what you was doing, body and all.
And she knew she was gonna be seen too.
She knew she was gonna be seen. She knew it was gonna be recorded.
Let me y'all know I just turned 50, right? Let me tell you, if I could, this is what I would have worn.
Listen,
just being straight up.
And here's the thing. I love that. Yeah. The only reason why I wouldn't wear it is because I know how he would feel.
To that.
So you respect him?
I do respect it because you can ask him. We just had a debate a couple days ago because it was a shirt dress. Okay. And I felt like I could go out in it. And he said, you better find some damn pants.
Yeah. And I said, like, I'm wearing gray sweatpants. I feel like I could just run to the store real quick.
Because I ain't stopping. No.
My husband has no understanding.
No, he didn't understand the whole gray sweatpants. But the same way guys look at women in a sundress and in booty shorts, it's the same way a woman looks at you in a gray sweatpants. And if you have a print, you might not notice your print.
Which for some reason can be shown through gray sweatpants.
I don't know why it's like that. But you
not black, not blue,
not black. No, because he can wear all the other sweatpants, but when he put that gray one on, it's like, oh no, if I can see your print, it's a thirsty broad out there that's seeing your print from across the street. Like, oh, who is that? Yes.
And now, but here's the fundamental difference in that though. Like, how many, like, that don't happen, like, it isn't the statistic, you know what I'm saying? As far as men approaching women versus women approaching men, on the flip side, it don't happen as often.
It doesn't happen as often, but it's a new breed of women out here.
It is a new breed. It's a huge double standard, too, for us.
See, it did some work for the day. And now you get rewarded. Come here.
There are women who felt like she was okay to do that. But there are women who will snap on a man just for a woman looking at him, and it's like, I didn't do anything. All I did was I got my gray sweatpants on, or I wear whatever. But y'all okaying her in Usher's arms, looking into his face.
Yeah, all of that, I get it. She was having a fandom moment, and she was swooning. I don't think she should have went that far.
Right.
Because I know if I did that, I'd have got a text like, you better go home with Usher then.
Yeah. So it would have been something.
It definitely would have been something. Do I think she should have paid more mindful to the dude she's with? Yes, I do. And had that conversation. When you were saying about her being a celebrity, isn't his dad a celebrity?
But that's his dad. That don't make it him.
I mean, but he still grew up in that life, though.
But it's still a difference. Like, if it's like a cameraman and Will Smith.
Nah,
it's kind of like that.
No. It's like, think of it this way.
Okay.
You know Denzel Washington has two sons.
Right? Yeah.
What's the other son's name who's not in movies and shit?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I get your point.
The one that was just in the Black Klansman, he could walk into place and people recognize him off the face.
Yeah.
Oh man, come over here. The other one, I don't know this nigga anyway.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I agree. I see what I see. It's just I see both sides.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like after you have a baby and then you still in that, whether she realized she in it or not, you still going through that postpartum.
Yeah,
But is she really?
Yes,
you go through
She's
postpartum.
going through it?
Yes.
Not every woman goes through postpartum.
Yes, every woman
Every woman
does go
goes
through
through
postpartum.
Just
Yes,
you don't
every woman
always
does.
recognize you go through postpartum.
See, this
I don't
why.
know about
Hey,
that.
listen, I'm not even trying to be funny, y'all, but it's a topic we should talk about.
Yeah.
I do believe that melanated, indigenous men are insensitive to what their women go through as far as afterbirth.
Yeah.
I think you guys
that
need to be
baby-
educated more.
Yeah.
You know, unlike Caucasian men, you guys do not go and take the classes and stuff like that. And it's so unfair to the relationship, not just the woman, but the relationship and the whole experience as a whole. It's crazy to me right now that you don't think that every woman goes through. Absolutely, every woman
I've never
goes
heard
through
that.
it.
Yeah,
That's something
every
we're going to talk
woman-
about in the future, Kiki.
Okay, yeah, every woman goes through postpartum.
It's
It's
just
just-
for that time. I was
it-
in on that one.
It's just
Okay.
not every woman is aware that they're going through.
Okay.
But and that's what the issue is, because I can sit here and say when I was after I had her, I wasn't aware that I was having postpartum. I knew I wasn't right. I knew
Okay.
something was wrong,
Mm.
and what really hit me to make me realize something was wrong was I was sitting at the top of the bunk bed holding her,
Mm-hmm.
and the thought was because she just kept crying.
Mhm.
The thought in my head was I should just throw her over this bunk.
Mm.
And at that moment, I knew something was wrong.
Absolutely.
Because I just thought about just killing my child just because she was crying so much.
I'm trying to think back, and I don't think I've ever had any of those topics in conversations because it was never like that. But I was like, I was mad hands on. Like, I'm the guy,
health and
you know,
education
when
is
the
so
woman is
important.
like going crazy and stuff, like, because she's like overwhelmed. I'm up all night. You know what I'm saying? I was the guy taking that.
And so was he said he did the same thing. But here's the thing: even if you are that guy, it's still something because that baby takes so much out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you trying to. Then you also you got to think about it. You guys went through it. Your sleep pattern changed.
Yeah.
Your body has changed. I remember one of the thoughts in my head was like, God, is it gonna go back to normal down there?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the thought, or like, is my body gonna go back? You got these newfound stretch marks, and you just trying to figure out, like, does he still think I'm sexy?
Right.
Like, you got to go 6 weeks without giving you none, and you're thinking about that.
It's crazy though, because I never thought that I just thought it was specific women. I never thought every woman.
Every
goes
woman.
through postpartum.
Every woman.
It's
And
different
look,
types.
It was levels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
levels to
And it is
different
levels too, but listen, you gotta remember that spitting out a baby, whether it be through vaginal birth or C-section, is a whole hormonal change.
Yeah.
Imagine all your insides just getting wiped out and pushed through, and then you pulling out a whole nother human.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother interchange of your interface, of your interpersonal
Yeah.
structure.
And the women that breastfeed go through it more because
I was definitely a breastfeeder.
Yeah, see, I didn't breastfeed; it hurt, so I didn't do it.
Okay.
But women that breastfeed go through it more because again, they're taking your nutrients, they're taking everything from you.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's like your hormone is imbalanced,
Okay.
and it takes a good year or so
Yes,
to
it
just
does.
get yourself back on track.
Yeah, just
and
like
trying to
menstrual
feel-
cycles.
Yeah, and trying to feel normal. And on top of that, then you got to deal with your cycle coming back.
Yes.
It's like it's so much.
And
then
sometimes
the
it don't
baby-
even give you.
And then we trying to deal with you guys understanding
Okay.
what we going through.
Nah,
Oh. I'm just saying, like nothing bad.
Right.
Well, I can't speak on the positive
Yeah.
side because her father didn't do nothing
Okay.
when I was pregnant, or after I had her. I actually left her when she was 3 months.
Okay.
But the crazy thing was, it was just like when I hear his stories and things like that, it's like, yeah, it's like it's awesome that you were there, but it's still that mental internal thing. What if your baby not latching on? Then you having a depressed because
Well,
my baby
I
don't
heard
latch
about that.
on.
That's part of the postpartum part.
Yeah.
That aspect.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
It's like, what if you and your baby just y'all not connecting the way you should, because it
Right.
happens.
Right.
And it's like you go through all of that. It's so much. I know it's a lot on dad, so don't get it twisted. I'm not taking away from either one of y'all because I respect what y'all do with y'all kids. I do. I really do.
Well, you know, that says a lot of that is just sometimes you gotta be able to communicate. Like, it's like if you don't know, if I don't know, it's like if you don't let nobody know.
But sometimes you don't. Like I said, before I realized something was wrong, I didn't know what was wrong. All I knew was
Now you know.
I don't know if it was. I knew I was sleep deprived. I knew because she ended up having colic and thrush, And I was in school getting my MA, finishing up my MA degree. And it was like, all I knew was I was tired. I was exhausted. I don't know. You feel like you, especially your first baby, you feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm confused. It's like, so all of that plays a part in it. And we will have a moment where we will touch on that a little more because I don't think people are really aware.
But I want to like, she said that like most melanated men are insensitive to that.
Yeah, because you're uneducated in it. That's the only.
But I don't think that would make us insensitive if we don't know. You hear what I'm saying?
It would though if you seeing your other half go through something and you're like, oh, because you know how many men are her, oh, she tripping, or I even had a friend that was like wanted to divorce his wife, Kate, because he said that everything that she was going through was in a book, and I'm like, pregnancy is textbook.
I just wonder, I do have a question.
Yeah.
What spurred the specificity of saying melanated men? Because it's like I feel like
because
that's what
unfortunately, because this is something because shout out to there was another Kia here and Talisha that had a show here, Girls in the Hood, and one of her organizations is sudden fetal death syndrome, which happens a lot in our community, namely in the Lee Harvey community. There's been a big, large amount of unfortunate, sudden infant death syndromes that happen in the neighborhood and nobody's talking about it and they don't get a lot of support through it.
Yeah.
So, and, learning about that and doing the studies and research on stuff and families, you know what I'm saying? Of course, that was one of the things that, kind of stuck out is the fact that, even with me, I urged my husband to go through, the classes and stuff because, Scott was my first child. Like, we wanted the whole experience in. Right. And he didn't take it in. I'm going to be straight up. He didn't take it in because he's like, oh, I got another kid. Well, I need something like that. But I'm like, it's a whole experience.
Because I went through that same thing.
It's a whole
yeah. I don't want to say all. I won't say all men.
Okay. Yeah.
I will say.
But most, unfortunately, the numbers are huge.
A nice percentage of it.
Yeah, because you walk into.
It's a younger thing or an older thing?
It's really no age. It's really no age push to it.
How that person.
What's factual is that you walk into those classes and there's nothing but Caucasian men.
Yeah. Because it's for some reason.
Yeah, they do. Yep. At all the Cleveland Clinic hospitals. Yeah, all of them they do birth. They all got those classes.
I feel like when you're going through that, the man can't relate because you're not going through what we're going through. Right. So I feel like maybe it's harder for you guys to understand. Like Marie said, I can understand her dad went to one doctor's appointment and he didn't go to anything else.
I was hands-on.
It's my best friend.
Yeah. I was the first person to say it.
My best friend went to the doctor's appointments with me so much that the doctor thought he was dead. And the Kier came out recognizing his voice before her own father. Because he was there because it's like her dad wasn't up. Right. It's like I think it's just one thing, a lack of education. Two, I think it's a lack of having a dad there to teach you what to do.
I wouldn't call it insensitive.
I won't say insensitive, and that's why I won't say
uneducated.
Uneducated.
If you don't know any better, how are you supposed to do that?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's so many things. And this is me stepping into my education that as black men, you guys aren't educated.
Right.
And honestly, like I told him, he talks to you to get your perspective.
Me being in, like, I did almost 6 years in garage. It's like, honestly, men won't go to the doctor unless it's something wrong with it.
We can walk around here just talking about it and not
but that's But that's what Lisa, why African American men are the highest rate for prostate cancer.
You don't like not being
because y'all ignore it.
So we need to
it's like, and this is where I would tell the guys
we feel about the situation that's going on.
You have to take care of yourself. But if no one's out there educating them and making them aware,
you know what I'm saying? It's his feelings, and we gotta respect that.
I think it's one of those. It's a learning thing to stone face, to where it's like the same as like showing emotional general. It's like you might not have had your dad or any other older figure tell you straight up. It's like, hey, man, you shouldn't let nobody see you cry. Right. You get that from society, just almost like, you know what I'm saying, what you see around.
And I hate that. And that's why I'm like a firm believer now we're standing up for men's mental health. Because you guys are bringing to be these strong men. You don't talk about your feelings. You bottle it inside. And then you get those women that when you do let out a hint of your feelings, they want to call you a bitch or you soft and shit like that. And that's not
So
okay.
disrespectful.
Okay.
So disrespectful.
But all right, so I want to tap in on that because I have a outlook on it. I don't think guys should be expressing their emotions on a regular basis because testosterone and emotions can equal death.
Danger. Yes,
Yes.
sir. I
So
agree.
when you look at it, you have all of these women raising these boys, teaching them to be emotional. That's why you have all of these deaths taking place because women react emotionally, physically,
Yeah, what's that?
and men operate differently.
Yeah.
A lot more life.
So like instead of sitting back and thinking about like, you know what, I'm gonna go holler at this dude, we gonna figure it out. Then if we got a problem, we got a problem. But now it's just straight emotion. Oh, you done touched
You see
my
my third
manhood.
parking lot?
Now I'm about to go kill you, type of
You see
stuff.
my
Because
third parking lot?
women react emotionally, and they're raising men, these young boys, to act emotionally.
Yeah, I agree.
So emotions and testosterone equals danger. And it should not be pushed as hard as it is.
Here's my caveat. I feel like it's less about being emotional and just being able to understand your emotions.
Yes.
Being able to understand, you know what I'm saying, fear versus hatred versus not understanding. Like, and sometimes it's just like, it be some shit you don't get, and people just react in anger to that shit. And it's like, there's no reason to be like that. Like, it might be something where it's just like a nigga can't realize when he being jealous of something and then be able to compose himself as such. It's like knowing your emotion can help you be able to control that shit. It's like that's the thing.
I like
Like
that.
people lack control of their emotions.
Yeah.
It's like that's the problem.
I like
Men
it.
and women.
I'm gonna have to have you back again to get this. I done got so into this conversation. I wish way off topic, but I need to have you back again because I would like. I told him I said I wanted an episode where I had men here that we could address some things, and then I wanted an episode where it was men and women here where we could bounce off topics and just really have a real conversation. So I definitely want to have you back so we can discuss this more. But I want to get into you.
Okay.
Again, because you know I love you. I love everything that you do.
Appreciate it.
I love your drive. Your drive motivates my drive.
And sometimes I bounce it, like y'all bounce off me too, though. It's like, so I be needing it too at times.
Yeah, but I it's like I love. Before I even get into it, you know, he's working with my husband, you guys, on multiple projects and two shorts. And then
Young lady, last day of school.
Yeah.
Last day of school. Pilot.
And then what was the horror one you did where you filmed in our house? What was the name of that?
That was Molly.
Molly, yes, Molly, which won the award.
Yeah.
No, it got
nominated.
It didn't win an award.
They got nominated.
He was
Still.
producer on Final Girl.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
Final
Final
Girl.
Girl. So it's, you know, I will forever love you for always supporting my husband. Because y'all know I go hard for my husband. So let's talk about No More Struggle Entertainment.
I didn't invite somebody on my TikTok and I don't even know what we're doing. He got
up.
Yeah.
So, you founded this in 1996. Tell me how did it, what brought this in?
Alright, so back in the days, I was doing music just like everybody else, selling stuff out of the trunk of your cars, you know, reaching out to all of these labels. I got like every music industry book you can think of. You sending demos to people, you meeting people, you going to festivals, you trying to talk to people. Met a ton of people. And everybody was all full of, I can touch them, right?
Yeah,
so everybody's full of shit. Because like you giving them demos, dudes is taking your stuff, they throwing it away. As soon as before you even walk off, they've already done dumped your stuff. You know, stuff like that. I just started getting like really fed up with stuff, but it wasn't until we decided to write a movie about our life and trying to get into the business. It was me and my partner at the time, and it was crazy. When we wrote this script, we were pushing it. Now, my partner at the time, one of my best friends, however, his work ethic wasn't the best, you know, so he kind of like half-assed on a lot of stuff. And so we're going out, we're trying to meet with all of these people. And we got in touch with some people in Hollywood. They're like, we love the script, but we want to switch it up a little bit. So we'll pay y'all $20,000 for the script. You're going to turn around and fix my movie, tell my story about me and change it to whoever else, and then you're going to make all of this money off of it.
Yeah.
And I only got $20,000 out of it. I was like, no.
Right.
So we met with this guy, really, really rich man here in Cleveland. His name was Tommy Ambrosia. And dude had pockets, like crazy pockets. And he was real tight with the dude who started Progressive Insurance.
Okay.
So, he was loving it. He loved the story. At this point in time, we were getting featured in the Cleveland scene. All kinds of newspapers around us all talking about it. It was like, oh, these dudes is doing it. So I just drew the logo in school one day, just messing around with it, and I was like, this is what I think I want to do. This black man breaking the chains of society. So if you look at the logo, it's the black man breaking the chains,
Love it.
So I'm sitting back and I'm like, yeah, this dude's about to, he feeling this, it's about to work. We done had about 4 or 5 meetings with him. We at the point where now we're talking budgets. We're like, yeah, what to do now? This dude's accountant comes in the last meeting and he basically just shuts it down.
Wow.
And you get your hopes up so much for something, you like, yeah, what? And then if nothing makes sense to you, I got tired of asking other people. So truth be told, like, I said, we're going to do it ourselves. We got camcorders, everything. We started shooting this thing all over the place. And because at that time, talking about the 90s, editing equipment wasn't as easy as it is now.
Right.
So it was like, I can't do nothing with this. You know what I'm saying? It got all these videotapes. You got to try to figure out how to switch this to this. And you splicing at that time. They don't splice now, you know? And so I just said, forget it. And truth be told, man, like, I was one of the first independent people out here, like, record-wise, like, music-wise, I mean, and movies. It wasn't like, and I was pushing that for the longest time. I've always told people, I never want to sign to a label. I never want to be major because I know how the game is played. I just got a chance to see a small dose of it this on this. So I said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and just do our own stuff. Let's move it. Started selling records out of the, or CDs out of the trunk. I mean, we did big numbers, which was kind of surprising to a lot of people. If you selling 30,000 CDs out of your trunk, that's money. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, all right, so we doing some things, so now we start putting money into stuff. Now we start to become more legitimized, with things. And we caught the attention of Atlantic Records. And we caught the attention of Atlantic Records. And I hate telling this story, but we ended up losing a $2.2 million deal.
Woo.
We was at the
Especially
table.
back then.
We at the table. They at the table. It was me and my lawyer. My partner can't be found. He can't be found.
Where was
So we sitting back, and at this point in time, I have my Nokia phone, and it's ringing, and it's an unknown number. And I'm like, I don't normally answer unknown numbers. Something was like, pick up this phone. I answered the call. I'm like, yo. I was like, who is this? And he's, will you accept a collect call?
Oh, no.
No.
His engine.
He got locked up.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, and Atlantic Records was basically like, I just pulled it into it because they was like, they don't want to be in a situation like if I decide to cut him out, they didn't want to be in a situation where they would get sued exactly for everything. And so and then come to find out, like, I had my phone was just blowing up with messages, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Everybody's like, dude, I'm mad, I'm at my house and stuff, and I'm just irritated because I just lost $2.2 million.
Right. Jesus Christ.
And everybody's just blowing my phone up. It was my goddaughter's mom was like, check the news.
Yeah, what's up?
This dude was running around town. He was literally being the bougie bandit.
Yeah. Shut up.
Calling up escorts, having sex with her, running off without paying her.
Shut up. Wow.
Did you take the
Yeah,
chain off
and it
the
wasn't until the last situation
Back downstairs.
he kind of got caught up in a messed up situation. The last situation, he impersonated an officer.
Holy shit.
So when he took the chick into the apartment or whatnot, he was faking like he was an officer or whatnot. Come to find out, she wasn't even of age. She was lying about her age because her mom was pimping her.
Wow.
Yeah, her mom was pimping her, had her out there. And so it just turned into a big ass,
I hope you decide to put this story out there. That is one hell of a story.
So, yeah.
Listen, that's a book. That's what you need to write. That is one hell of a story right there.
So, yeah.
Jeez.
So we, I'm in college and stuff, and kind of had to just move on without it. And then turned around, I took my logo that I drew, girl in the computer lab, she was a graphics art major. She was like, can I do that? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, can I turn that into something for you? I was just like, most definitely. She took it in, she came out about 6 hours later, she had this. I was like, that's dope.
That's dope. Shout out to
logo
her.
ever since. Yeah,
Nice. I love the logo.
So, yeah.
So, a surprising thing that I did not know that I'm excited to ask you about, you went into MMA.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me
Shut
about
your
the
mouth.
whole
Yeah.
deciding to go into the MMA thing.
It was cool. Did a little bit of training in it and stuff, but most, got into a couple of the matches and whatnot. But I realized then it was a lot easier to be a promoter than getting into the fighting. Now, like a lot of people don't understand, in MMA, you can become a professional after 3 fights. So after 3 fights, you become a professional. So obviously that's where a lot of people jump into. They're like, well, I'm about to get into and I'm going to be a fighter for UFC. That's a long road. A lot of people don't understand. So I started what was called Fight Club Warriors. It was an independent, company. We held a couple of fights and stuff. And we slowly became like a feeder to WEC, which was the other big company next to UFC before UFC bought them out. And we were a feeder with them, so we sent 2 fighters up to them. So, they kept us, but obviously UFC bought them out, so a lot of guys had to find their own way and stuff. And let me tell you, they did not want another Don King in Cleveland. They didn't. I mean, so, and the crazy part of it is I didn't even want to get into strictly UFC. So I don't know if y'all saw my post recently up on Facebook, but I was talking about a fight that took place, and I was like really angry about it because when I first got into it, I said I'm gonna be the first person to put 2 and 2, 2 guys versus 2 guys in the cage, 3 guys versus 3 guys in the cage. The Ohio Athletic Commission. Now, mind you, I've never even had a fight. All I did was create a website and I put it out there just to bring in attention. And so I started posting it, and it was like a chat room called MMA Fighter, like all of these chat rooms. Promoters from other areas started getting threatened by that. And now they're like, oh, this ain't the WWE and all of this. They reported me to the Ohio Athletic Commission.
That's crazy.
I didn't even hold my first fight. I remember walking out, I got a phone call, and it popped up OAC. So I walked out of my classroom, and it's the head guy from Ohio Athletic Commission, the head man. And he called me, is this Mr. Dawson? I said, yes, it is. He was like, this is such and such. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. He cussing me out.
Wow.
Threatening me and everything.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, he's like, I'm going to have you sanctioned. I'm going to make sure your promoter license gets stripped.
Wow.
I'm going to make sure you never hold a fight ever again. I said, and I said, for what? I said, I haven't done anything. You're holding illegal fights. I said, can you prove it? I said, all you got is some chatter off of an MMA site. I said, I know somebody reported me to you. Because you wouldn't have called me any other time. You didn't call me when I was getting my promoter's license. You didn't call me when you gave me my promoter's license. So what is this all about?
Right.
So he starts yelling at me that this isn't the WWE. We don't do that. You know how dangerous this sport is. I said, yeah. But that still doesn't mean that it is not done in the right situation. It can't be done.
Right.
And so, you know, he basically, he sabotaged my fights. So it was like, I'm trying to put these fights together. He's taking forever to approve my fights. Meanwhile, we've already promoted, marketed, everything. So the money is out there. So yeah, my first fight, I lost $12,000 promoting the fight. I'm talking, I got to pay for the ring. I'm supposed to go halves with the deal was supposed to be halves with the club. I'm gonna take the door and part of the bar, you know, some stuff like that. And they sabotaged me. I ended up getting, I had to pay like the timekeeper $1,500. I had to pay for the ambulance to be there. The referees, the judge, each judge got like $2,000. I was like,
That's a lot of money you put into
I'm
that.
sitting here like, and I'm talking like, you know, at the time, like my wife was like, I'm using her credit card, you know, trying to make it happen and stuff. And yeah, we was in a hole for a minute. It was ugly, you know what I'm saying? And then I was just like, whatever. I kind of just let it go for a little bit. Like I felt good about what I did do, but the money, it just wasn't worth it, and they wasn't helping me, you know what I'm saying, push. But they didn't want a black promoter in the business. So,
one thing I learned about that MMA stuff. One of my messengers,
okay.
and like, he did it professionally for a minute. But like he was saying, it's essentially the same as like when you were starting off as a rapper or something like that. You still like, he was like, bro, you can lose the fight. Like a dude can lose the fight and still make more money just because he sold more tickets.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like shit like that.
Makes
It's
sense.
just contributing factors where it's like you take it and still
make money. Yeah.
It's like that should be, that's the point. That sucks to beat the fuck out of somebody. You made more.
You made more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is actually a great time, since you were talking about, you know, social media and things like that, to get into your social media commandments. And if Marie, if you want to pull that up, we're going to go into talk about the cue us into the song. We're going to play it because I felt like it was perfect time right there.
Social media commandments is a track I just made. I was just messing around and just looking at all of the dumb stuff that takes place on social media, how people are basically losing their mind on it.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what, we just kind of like, there's no rules to it. Like, everybody just out here acting a fool and it's being okay. That's why we are in our societies like with nothing. You know, so I'm like, some type of rules to it.
Yeah. We've talked about it a couple times.
I think the sex is like it's the same as everything else. You so drawn to our own dysfunction. All we really living through now is a heightened era of the Jerry Springer era. Like, remember Jerry Springer at its height? That's when we back at that now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just worse. Because like there's no one set that people had to be on to do it. Wherever you at, you can fucking have that broadcasted live to the world.
Definitely.
And it's like, oh yeah, it's even worse now. It's like everybody's just trying to be the Jerry Springer.
Yeah, the new Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into social media commandments and let everybody listen to that.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to touch into the green lady because I got some questions.
Me too.
So here we go. Social media commandments by DAWS. I'm not used to calling it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Everybody calls me that. So.
You were saying you're pulling it up.
Yeah, I'm not saying you bored.
Yeah, it's understandable. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, it's I got it up.
Okay.
It's SoundCloud. Let me see what's going on. It's not moved up.
And the subject is like, you gotta learn on the fly.
Yeah, right now and everything. Yeah. So as she's getting that together,
Yeah, I got it up.
Oh, you
It's
got it?
just SoundCloud. It's like,
you're taking
Oh.
yeah, SoundCloud.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna down to my pop, but Yeah, you was good at music. Like no one would ask you. Your playlist, man. First 5 songs on your playlist.
Right now,
Yeah.
the first song I always put in my playlist is Joe Budden's. I don't even know the name of the song. It's like OSL4.
Mm.
All right.
It's his song that he made about, what's her name, Tahiri?
Shout out to Joe
Oh,
Budden.
wow.
There's somebody, another track other than Pump It Up. For Joe Budden. Shout out to Joe Budden.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't never heard that song. Y'all need to listen to that song. That song is crazy.
I would check.
I would definitely check it out. I knew their story.
Outside of Slaughterhouse, I've never listened to a single other Joe Budden song. Didn't Pump It Up.
Let's see, who else is in there? Right now, like right now, Kevin Gates, his intro. I don't even remember what the song is for what album, but that song just gives me hype. It's crazy. I like Mozzie. I like a lot of independent artists.
I like
Mozzie, but I listen to a lot of his old stuff.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Maybe I have to pull it up. Oh, Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
Busta, I like,
Yeah,
Busta and Method Man and Redman.
Nice.
Rock Wallen.
Yep. Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Nice.
But Redman was always one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
I was like, when I first started doing music, I actually got a chance. That's the only person I was starstruck to see. He was kind of like, he was so laid back, he was like, man, chill out. It was just like, you know who you are, man. Like, he was like, man,
Beyonce
chill
in
out.
your group, you don't get it.
Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a hip hop head. I love hip hop music. Today's music,
I can't.
there's some stuff I can get with, but see, man, I got crazy stories.
They got a wide range.
They do, but they are not promoted right. But people know who they are and like them, but I can't even say, like, I can't even name a song from them. I've watched them and I've listened to them and I've seen them on ciphers and stuff. They dope, but they don't get pushed. They remind me of, like, how the Roots were. Like, the Roots was legit, but, like, they didn't really bang out on radios and stuff. Everybody loved them.
Marie, you want to do the other song?
Yeah, let me see. Are they both on SoundCloud?
The
SoundCloud.
other one should have been MP3,
Okay,
for sure.
yeah, because SoundCloud is having an issue right now. I'm waiting on
Okay.
SoundCloud.
So then tell us,
Yeah.
while she's pulling that up, tell us about Gangsta.
That was just a song I got out here with these youngins. I
Uh-huh.
got out here with these youngins. And I did it more just to show that I think don't get it twisted. Like, because I'm older, I still, I still fly out. So, and that's just what it was. I got out here with, so one actually was a former artist on my label, but we still cool. He's on my cousin's label, and which is Untamed Entertainment. So, I like to say shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
But so it was one guy named Fat Block. He was on that track. He does the chorus to it, and then it's my other cousin's artist, which was Tay 1K. Tay is dope, man, but he just he got tons of videos out there, but he just he's in Cleveland, and that's the problem. Like he's in
It's like
Cleveland.
standing in quicksand.
Yeah,
That's
and
all
he-
the
and-
conversation.
If Tay was in Atlanta, if Tay was in California, if Tay was in Florida, he would be banging out right now. People would be all over this dude because he writes nonstop. He got so many songs, it's ridiculous. I'm like, dude, stop making so many songs. Promote your hot stuff, and then you got an arsenal to just hit people with. But,
Somebody who changed a lot of how people operate currency, man. He really showed that, like, you can be successful as an underground artist and stay that way.
most definitely.
Because he still considers himself, even though he's one of the biggest names out here, he still considers himself underground.
And the crazy part is that you know who else is big? And like he's the richest rapper in the game. Take a shot at it.
I would probably
Take
say
Nine.
Snoop. Oh yeah, Take Nine.
Tay Man is the richest,
Yeah.
one of the, is the
Oh,
richest
yeah.
rapper in the game.
He's definitely the wealthiest independent artist. Like, definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah, he's the richest rapper in the game. A lot of people don't even understand that because he does all, like, for years, this man is out here traveling and he's touring and he's doing 340 some shows a year, all cash, and he's bringing in like 60, 70,000 a show. And it might even be more than that. I just knew at the last time I checked, it was like 89, 90,000 a show.
Yeah.
Richard, but I'm talking strictly music. It's just not no, I know endorsements
Yeah.
and all that other. Just strictly music. That man is grinding out there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he's doing all of his stuff.
You ready, Marie? Oh, yeah. Okay. We're ready. So we're gonna go into Gangsta Bitch.
Yes.
I swear I sound so proper saying
I didn't even want to name it that,
That's
but
okay. I like it.
It made me think about it.
Yeah. So y'all go ahead and check this out, and then we'll be back with more of Mr. Dawes. I cannot do that. I can't. Sorry, Donald. Here we go. It's okay. I do it with the dance. I can't. Oh, you.
Goes back.
The back. Oh, it's like I can't.
Skip. And all the way across everything.
Yeah.
It's playing. We can't hear it. Or-
Nope, it's not
Oh,
playing.
I was like, I know.
It's not playing either.
Oh.
Okay. Hey.
So we haven't. She got a new board, y'all.
It just means I need to stop doing music and just
No.
stay strictly on the movie.
No.
No.
So, okay. And I talked to Skip about this. You are doing a horror film about the Green Lady.
Yep.
I ain't even gonna lie to you. Everybody has a different variation of the story. I know nothing about this story. So, tell me as much as you can without telling your whole movie.
I mean, truth be told, the story goes from what me and Skip talked about this, the Skip's in the movie. So, my story that I received was, it was a lady who lived in the inner city, Cleveland. She had a special needs son, and she was extremely overprotective of him. She allowed him to venture off to the store one day, regrettably, and then he never came back. And when she went and found him, she found his body surrounded with police officers and stuff, and he's under the sheet. He's painted green because the kids just thought it was funny to beat him up, and didn't realize they killed him. Spray painting him green. They thought they were just picking on him and stuff. And so she kind of like lost it. Decided that she was going to start painting herself green and everything, and started killing other people's kids because somebody killed hers.
So this is like a real story.
No.
Or urban legends.
It's an urban legend.
It's an urban legend.
It's in the same vein as like Candyman or something like that.
Okay.
It's just something that's actually told. Like Candyman is just a movie. This is something that's like, people actually. And I mean, listen, when he first asked me about it, was telling me, it's just like I had my story of the Green Lady that I heard. It was like my sister. It was like you talking to my sister. It's like she's well versed in all of that stuff. So she knows like it goes all the way back to overseas, and it's like the story. And I mean, there's a lot of different variations.
Yeah.
It depends on where you are. Like in Philly, they got a different one.
Yeah.
I want to say they got a different one in like Milwaukee. It's like all throughout the Midwest, they got a lot of different variations. And
Okay.
it's like, they're all different, but same story. Lady wronged or crazy or mean or just evil, something like that. Something happened, she died. She's coming back on people. It didn't really matter where it was. Like as long as it was something good.
Same premise.
Right.
So, what made you decide that you was like, you know what, I want to shoot this Green Lady?
I always wanted to tell the story. I felt it was just something that people needed to know about. And just sitting back and just thinking about it. And when I saw the what is the one movie? The independent film that ended up making like $180 million, the Blair Witch Project. When I saw the Blair Witch Project, and I went and saw that movie, and I mean, me personally, I thought it was trash. But it made $170 million because they marketed the hell out of that movie. And it had everybody come to the theater, and I'm sitting there the whole time, I was like, where's the damn witch? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, first person camera action and stuff like that. It was brilliant. And I didn't even look at that part, you know, when I first started looking at it. Then you start sitting back, you're like, man, that was actually kind of brilliant because you got people running, the lighting is dark and it's scary looking and stuff. That was brilliant. Yeah, exactly. That was brilliant. But the movie in itself, I thought was terrible. But they sucked me in for a part two. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, they got some money behind them now. This was like a real movie, you know. But it still did the same thing. So I'm like, man, if this was able to do it, I know the Green Lady can. I was like, it has to. And there's people who are like scared of it still. There's people who are scared of it. There's people who are still like, yeah, you know, let's go ahead and make this happen. So I'm like, all right. I remember we were filming a scene, and I talked about it in the movie actually. We were filming a scene in the gas station. The guy came up to us and was like, "What are y'all filming? Music video?" I said, "Nah." Now at this point in time, my whole cast and crew don't know nothing about the Green Lady. I've been explaining it to them. They looking at me like, I have to look into that. So they see this guy, black man, like my size, you know, got big guy and stuff. And he was like, "So what are y'all filming?" I said, "The Green Lady." This dude got pale instantly and was like, "Turn your cameras on. Stop filming."
Wow.
And like people were like, my cast and crew was sitting there like, "Is he serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's serious, but we ain't gonna stop." Yeah. I said, but you know, he was telling me like, "Y'all don't play with that. Y'all can't be playing with that. This is real." Like, and it was cool, but it scared my cast and crew enough to be like, "Man, we really need to look into this." So, you know, just go ahead and keep on pushing with it.
I'm excited to see it because, like I said, I know nothing about the Green Lady. And I know you've been putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this project.
It's been
A long,
long road.
but you know they say the toughest stuff make the best product.
I hope so. You know, being a Skip, you know, being a director, writer, and stuff, and like when you're doing arts, you always get that weird feeling like hoping everybody's gonna accept your stuff, and I'm an overthinker. That's the word going with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm an overthinker. So therefore, I'm trying to fix every little thing possible because what if they pick this up? What if they say this? There's one scene in there I couldn't edit it. I couldn't fix it because it just the way it was said. I tried to fix it as much as possible. It still makes my stomach turn as I'm talking about it. But I'm hoping that I fixed it enough so people can't really figure it out.
Yeah, because no one knows.
But also, man, it's like, listen, people gonna stick it no matter what.
True.
Listen, I watch it. There's a YouTube channel, Tyler Perry's YouTube channel I watch called Cinema Scene. Well, that is the entire premise of the whole channel. They literally go through every movie, every big budget, small, all of that shit.
Okay.
Anything that's like popular, like they have a video where they going through the entire movie. And I mean, like, they going and breaking down shit that you wouldn't even have thought about where something was wrong. Like, you know, different, like, parts of the story that don't make sense, shit like that. And it's just like, oh, they're going to be bigger no matter what. Like, fuck it, right? They're going to do it no matter what. Right? There's going to be somebody out there that be like, yeah, but why the fuck did you have this kid to do that? It's like,
No matter how perfect you make it. And you always, like I always tell him, I'm my own worst critic. So no matter how good y'all might think it is, in my head, I'm like, well, I can do this.
Yep. And that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's hard to break away from it.
Yeah, I'm definitely like,
It's so hard.
I'm like, man, I gotta, get this thing out because I owe it to all of the people that's been out there. But, you put your name to that, you know what I'm saying? Your company to that. So you be looking like,
Looking at what he fixed it. Trust me, I understand. He just literally lectured me last weekend because in my mind, I still feel like I'm not doing enough for the show.
right.
And he was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you do so much. But in my head, I'm sitting here thinking, well, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to learn how to do this and that.
Right.
And he's like, just stop. He's like, you're doing enough. It'll come with time.
Definitely.
But in my head, I'm like, no. I need this. Every time I'm up to midnight just researching, learning, doing, trying to figure out how to make it better. Because in my head, it's like, no, not enough people watching.
But I'm
Not
gonna
enough
tell you,
this.
the one thing I learned is be consistent. Because I don't care what anybody says. I tell everybody that before, like I started really pushing the movie thing, not admitting so many things, but we started podcasting for podcasting was a thing. So at a point in time, there was a app out. It was called Ustream. So we went on Ustream. It was me, my boy, two girls. We had our show. It was called the Adam and Eve Show. And so it was Adam versus Eve. So it was like men versus women on certain topics and stuff. And our first show pulled in, I think it was 2,200 views and likes and everything. The Ustream was so weird. Like we'd be in the middle of something. You trying to broadcast live and just cutting the commercials and like in the middle of you talking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it was just real weird. But you know, it was catching on and we were doing our thing and people was really into it. Like I tell people we were the Breakfast Club before the Breakfast Club.
Nice. And
we did about I think it was 10 shows. Had we stuck with it and stayed with it, I think we would have been killing it. But because we didn't,
and that's what he keeps telling me. And that's what made me, because, we started this 2 years ago.
Right.
And we started at the house. And then things with COVID and everything. Yeah, he was there. And it was one of those, people wanted to come on the show. And it was like, I don't want you coming to my house.
Right.
And then I also, doing it in the house, I could make an excuse. And this is why I like coming here. Because, like, one, I'm paying to come here.
Right.
And when you're paying to do something, you're going to do it. So it was like, it kind of forced me to be consistent.
Right.
So where it's like, I'm here, it's, Marie can tell you, it's maybe 3 shows we ain't do. And one was because I was sick. And I still think we ended up going remote outside just because to still do it.
Okay.
So it's like, I get the consistency and I'm trying to, and that's what I was telling them, it's just with the promotion, just being consistent and being things, but getting out of my head too. Because I'm constantly in my head because I want to make it great.
Right.
It's like, but then also I always tell him, I don't want to make it feel like a job either.
It should though.
That's what I'm trying to get you at.
Yeah, it should though.
It's one of those, it's not going to be something that's going to be fun. That's why I say like, it's not going to be fun. And it's like, it's not going to always just be like happy. It's not going to be the best, but it's like, you got to stick with it, regardless.
Yeah.
Like, up, down, whatever. And it's like, you have. It's just you gotta, continue.
I have, and it's still one of those. I constantly tell them, like, oh, you need to do this, to that. I don't want to. I'll get to it. I want to work in my pace because to me,
take big leaps, and I'm trying to suggest small steps.
You pointed it out last time.
Got to.
Yeah, definitely. So when can we expect the Green Lady premiere or sneak peek or
October, I'm having the premiere. So it should be going down. I'm putting everything out there because I did all these projects. I haven't really debuted to nobody. The only one I ever debuted was the Blue Marvel, which surprisingly filled the theater. And I was really shocked by that because we did it at Lakeland Community College. And man, like it was nuts.
Tell us about Blue Marvel too.
So Blue Marvel is a Marvel character. We don't own the rights to it. I mean, I talked to the creator of the character, but he no longer owns the rights to it. But but I don't want to get it from them. I want them to see what I'm doing and make it a Disney Plus show like they did Secrets of Invasion and stuff to that nature. So just let me have the control of it. Because nobody else is out there trying to do him. And so that's what I'm trying to do. The Blue Marvel is the black version of Superman.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. He was out during the civil rights time. And President JFK actually put him in hiding because white people at the time wasn't ready for a black superhero. So, like, you got this black man coming to save the world, he's still being attacked by white supremacy. So it was like
crazy.
Yeah. Wow. So he went into hiding, and in agreement to go into hiding, you know, but then Kennedy gets assassinated.
Now
The world is out of control.
yeah.
And now we got this villain that comes into town, you know, comes from out of, you know, space or whatever, and he's attacking the world, and the Avengers can't handle him. He's almost as powerful as Thanos. But you got the black version of Superman is around. He's walking around and nobody's even like knowing that it's him until Nick Fury goes looking for him.
Okay.
And that's where when we started the pilot, we started the pilot literally from Nick Fury walking to a restaurant where he confronts the Blue Marvel's wife, who was also an undercover secret agent who's married to him but monitoring the Blue Marvel, making sure he doesn't surface.
He's like his,
But she's his handler, but she's married to him. They didn't have kids and everything. But the whole time, like, you know, she kind of got lost in the assignment process too when Kennedy got killed. So when Blue Marvel finds out that, you know, this is his wife is really undercover, but they had to watch him the whole time.
Wow.
So now they got like this conflict within themselves before they can rectify it. You know, she ends up getting killed. So it's crazy.
Well, I can't wait to see that. I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah.
So I.
He look just like Sam Jackson.
So
Close?
he's close. He's close. It's my cousin. He's actually an actor in the area too. His name is Jimmy Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the patch.
Jimmy Lee. That's my homie.
So he literally has the patch on his eye, like
Yeah.
So yeah, he
He's an award-winning stuntman too.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
so he plays Nick Fury
Okay.
for me. So
Have you seen the new Nick Fury movie?
the series, yeah, I've been watching it because, like, as I'm still finishing out everything and I'm finding out how I'm green screening everything, I'm kind of seeing what they're doing with him. So I'll kind of know where to tap in with him.
Gotcha.
Where I want to tap in with him, so making sure I'm still staying consistent
Okay.
with everything.
Is it good? I definitely want to check it out.
I mean, the once again, I am my biggest critic. I think it could have been done a little bit better with certain things, like the transitions. I think it was a little bit long, but when we did the premiere, it was nothing but positivity.
That's good.
And like I said, we sold out the theater. Like, it was crazy. I didn't even think we was gonna have enough seats for everybody. That's
nice.
how bad it was.
That's a
And
good
I was
thing.
just like, yeah. Because I was doing basically, like, I said, you know what, I'm just going to put on, like, my own film festival pretty much. So I gave a bunch of local directors a chance to show their short films and stuff before the movie. That was a learning curve. I should have been a little bit more picky about who I let put their stuff on the screen. And I just wanted to just bring people in.
Yeah.
But there was films out there that really did not mesh with the movie, the superhero movie thing. But overall, the response for the Blue Marvel was amazing.
So are you going to do the same thing, type premise for the Green Lady?
Yeah, but the only thing I'm doing different with the Green Lady is I'm showing everything that I've done.
Okay.
So it will start with Molly, which if I can get the audio fixed up a little bit better, because I wasn't, when we shot that, it was loud as can be and everything. And we was in an area that the young lady who wrote it, she didn't really secure the facility so we could have quiet and stuff. So we were trying to shoot around people's voices, so editing the audio was tough. You remember, y'all saw it at the Shaker thing and stuff, and so then I want to go to that. I want to show Final Girl as well.
Oh,
You know.
Okay. I'm
Put
just
two
putting
together.
everything together. That's all.
Yes,
Yeah.
We all did the Final Girl.
Okay.
So I want to show the
With
Final
Ryan.
Girl, and then I want to do Last Day of School, and then I want to do the Blue Marvel, and then go into the Green Lady.
Nice. So I'm hoping when you do that, it'll spark some energy in my husband.
Oh,
So
I'm about to spark
so
you.
y'all can get back in and get back to going.
I believe time like this. I'm done with my classes for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then I will be done for a while.
Right.
So it's like I definitely want to start using that time more like
Hey.
start doing shit.
Hey, I told you.
I'm about it.
Hey, we about to get into it, man, because it's like my drive is back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was for a minute, you know, the pandemic and stuff. And
I remember you having that.
I had a lot of personal stuff going on, so
you had that moment where it's just creativity wasn't there.
now like my drive is back. Like, and then with this AI feature, AI is helping me with my scripts like crazy. So I'm like, hey, let's go.
I don't want to call
You talking about
Man, listen.
you talking about Grammarly?
No, I'm talking about like ChatGPT. Oh.
Oh,
That's what the writer's strike was kind of. That was a big part of the
Listen, they
writer's
better
strike.
step their game up.
Wow.
Because,
But I mean, how can you though? It's something that they can be programmed to think like fucking Tarantino and Scorsese and all of these other different creators, and then make a story. It's like
so
it's hard to compete against.
Yeah.
So I got another. It's like a limited series I'm gonna do because I don't think certain stories of African Americans are being told. So I'm doing a limited series, and I just approached one of the actors about being the lead, but it's called BHW. If you don't know who BHW is, it's Dr. Daniel Hill Williams, the first African American to perform open heart surgery.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people don't even know his story. I had to go big to get his history and stuff. But let me tell you something. I went into ChatGPT. You write out your description. You tell them, I want to tell a story. I want this many characters, and I want the setting to be from this year. And like you go into it deep, and then you just say, write me a pilot. It just comes right out. And if you don't like it, you can hit regenerate, and it'll rewrite it for you.
Wow.
But if you do like it, you can take it, copy and paste it, put it into something. If you want to add to it, you just type in the add to it. Man, I'm telling you, it's amazing. I got a 4-part series
I like
already.
putting myself. Because I started off writing, and it's like that's what I like to do. And it's like, man, I like to put something myself in there.
But you can just go in
And
and
add
add to it. That's all you gotta do. I'm telling you, it's amazing, and you better get on board because AI is taking over.
It's taking over. We talking about it.
Man, I can use it for everything.
Before y'all get into that rabbit hole, we getting close to the end of our show.
Okay.
I didn't get to talk to you about what I wanted to talk to you about, so I'll bring you back.
I get to pitch that. I did another story I did. And I wanted to pitch that.
So it sounds like I'm gonna have to have a part 2 with him because I really, you knew what I wanted to talk about.
Would you like?
You as a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have time, but I'm gonna bring you back. We're gonna have that conversation.
I'm with it.
But of course, like every show that ends when I have a guest, I always have to ask because this is a relationship marriage show. It is because we talk about our marriage, we talk about all the stuff. So
Everything.
that's only because I branched out into other stuff. I didn't want to just be repetitive about just certain topics, but it's still our relationship.
Right.
So before we end, I always ask every guest, what is your advice for anyone? I can say, starting a relationship, being in a relationship, being in a marriage, all of that. What would your advice be?
Stop looking for vindication of your relationship through social media.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
no one has
yeah.
said that.
Stop looking for that because
You better let 'em know.
that is killing relationships.
Yeah, that's a
You
fact.
can be a man sitting out here doing right by your woman, but if social media isn't improving of it, it doesn't meet what she's looking for on it, you gonna have problems. And it's like there's no reason for all of that because if you know I'm doing right by you and I'm doing everything you need, what you need vindication for that? What you need validation, I should say.
Yeah.
Validation.
Yeah.
You know, why do you need validation from social media? What did you do with your relationship before social media?
Yeah.
Your man was able to tell you he loves you, give you cards and all of this other stuff. Now it's got to be posted for people to believe that you actually love somebody. You know how many fake relationships is on social media right now?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
how many people go that hard for their women and still fuck other bitches like?
Oh my God.
feeling
Yeah.
the way you
Stop
feel.
looking for validation online because, and there's dudes out there looking and waiting for you to post something, you know, and there's women too,
Yeah,
you know,
that are looking.
and they're looking and waiting for you to post just one thing about being unhappy. Next thing you know,
They own it.
slide in your DMs.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I see you, you know, I would never treat you like that. I would never.
Did we go through
Yeah,
that?
come out here with that
We
bullshit.
went through that just on my end.
Mm-hmm.
It was I didn't even post anything. I posted about when we got our dog. And remember, I slid in my DM. You know, if it was me, I wouldn't have. He said something, and it was just like you just waiting for a moment to just tear down my husband so that you think you can work your way in. And it's like that's not how it works. I hate women that will post their dude, and then all of a sudden, as soon as drama starts, they posting the drama. And oh, I'm done with him. I'm gonna leave him alone. And then 2 days later, I love him.
Yeah, that makes you look
He
stupid.
going here. It makes you look stupid.
Like, you know, like I see dudes, and I got a cousin, and you know, they're all like, you hear women go like, oh, you don't ever post me, and you don't do that. I got a cousin who posts a different woman every 6-7 months. Like, is he in love? This is his woman. Like, why is it not good? Like, if I'm sitting with you, and I'm at home with you, and I'm doing everything, I don't go out, I'm at home with you. Why do we need social media to validate us?
Because everybody's love language is different.
I hate love language.
I don't think social media should count as a love language.
It isn't.
I
That
really
should
don't.
not be.
That's your opinion.
No.
When I bring you back, we'll get into this conversation because there are people that have that love language that need that type of attention. That like you say, validation.
How would you get it if it didn't exist?
When it was back in the day when you did grand gestures like send flowers to the job or things like that, that's how they got that validation. But we will touch on it before we go. Because I know the young lady's going to be coming in here in a minute. Tell everybody where they can check out your work, where they can communicate with you, your social medias, all of that you want people to know.
The majority of everything is at www.nmsem.com, and that's the same thing for IG as well, and on Facebook. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
NMSEMM. So that's what it's saying. Level struggling entertainment, multimedia.
Well, thank you for coming and being a guest on our show and talking with us about your movies, your music, even, because I've known you for a while and didn't even know you did MMA. So it's like, thank you for just coming, even chatting with us. I really appreciate you because I know you are a busy man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be busy.
I know you are a busy man, but I love you. You are a brother to us.
Yes.
So I always glad that you come. Thank you guys for tuning in for episode 11, Lights, Camera, and Fucking Action. Yes.
Make sure you like and share and subscribe and all the other comments and all the other things you do.
And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
So this is something I went back. I was going through like some old scripts and shit. I was looking at it. So the premise that I had for it was essentially it would be like a give up. Not necessarily like military. It would be like the story would be like it's kind of set us on the side. But it's just like people that I came up with this like very
Are you doing your intro?
Yeah. I don't think. Well, yeah, I will. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to F a Name Radio Show.
here on this station where we don't bring no static, but we sure don't bring the noise on staticradio.net. Make sure you guys check us out on social media where we absolutely love to hear from you on Facebook.com/No Static Radio LLC, on Twitter at No Static underscore radio, on Instagram at The Real underscore No Static Radio, and on YouTube at No Static Radio, as well as our newest platform, Discover.tv. Yes. Also, if you guys would like to listen to replays of this show and others, please check us out on Mixler, Mixcloud.com. Just type in No Static Radio on the toolbar for replays of this show and others, and for continuous streaming. That means no refreshing the page. Just sit back, relax, let it do a little rebuffering on its own, and bam, you got us on tunein.com, liveonlineradio.net, or MediaQ for continuous streaming uninterrupted of this show and all others on the platform. And for all things No Static Radio, including up and coming events, merchandise, and a look at all our great show hosts here, please check out our website at www.nostaticradio.net. Thank you guys for tuning in and listen. You know what it is? It's Friday, y'all. And we got the plus size Barbie. Stacy Lester was welcome to the BBW show coming up next here on your Voice of the Revolution, nostaticradio.net, powered by Google, partnered with Colors, and sponsored by Lamont Avenue Wines, the Cleveland Rugby League, and Design Me exclusively. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.